Now we're being live streamed.
Got it.
I will unfortunately miss the live poetry in the brew next Saturday because I've got another commitment. But Jeff, Brandon Long told me you're going to be with his Prodigal Poets at an event.
Yes, I'm kind of. They're doing their event on Friday, which is apparently their regular event, and I'm kind of doing a short set as a guest. And we're also both featuring at what's it called? Some cigar lounge in Smyrna on the Thursday, the 19th, I think.
Oh,
so
okay.
If you miss me at the brew, next week, you can see me in the surrounding Nashville area the following week.
Okay, great. And Smyrna's closer to me than Nashville is, so that
great.
would be more doable. Yeah, great. Some a cigar store or
cigar lounge. Let me just
cigar lounge. Oh, okay, I've heard of that. Cigar lounge. Okay.
Let me just look it up again. It's called. I've listed it on my website here. Jazz and Snaps. It's at the Southern Flair Cigar Lounge, 98 North Lowry in Smyrna. So there's going to be poetry and jazz and apparently cigar smoke. So apparently.
The Southern Smoke Cigar Lounge.
Southern
Flair.
Southern Flair. Hold on, I got the link. I'll just post the link.
Southern Flair. I'm on the Facebook.
There's a website which I'm about to post now. And that's the venue. So I think that's Thursday at, let me check. Thursday at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to be doing a set. Prodigal Poets are going to be performing, and there'll be music and comedy and lots of stuff, and apparently cigars. So I don't know if they're Cubans. So that's the Thursday the 19th. And then Friday the 20th, I'm at the Pumphrey and Beard at 134 North Main Street in Dixon. So that's the Prodigal Poets show. So I'm going to be an honorary prodigal, I guess.
Yay.
Yay.
Rightly so. Oh, okay. Well, that's the fun thing is that when I talk, it shows my photo. Y'all, it is the top of the hour. I am not caught up with the chat. Is there anything in there that I need to see? Anybody have any requests or needs before we get started?
Well, how long is it? What's our time limit there, Christine?
I think we're doing about 5 minutes. I'm glad. I love having a feature. However, I really, really love getting to hear from this amazing variety of voices we have. So for right now, that's what we're going to go with for our format, and just kind of we'll keep it wiggly. And I just am so open to all your feedback and direction as we go. We're just testing out different things now that we're back and, slightly earlier, and it's the first Saturday, and yeah, keep on wiggling with the poetry. And let's see. Okay, so we are doing the live thing. I've got my phone video with my computer audio. And then y'all have the list, but we know that Hill is going to open us. Phil Lenz did not yet arrive, but I want to say hi to Propaganda Poet and Terri Rose and Generalissimo Bryan, Franco and Phynne Belle and Lowe and Gregory Lannom and Rhoda Thomas, impresario extraordinaire, and Robert McGowan, Hill, Bonnie Solloway, impresario extraordinaire, Rishi, Tim Evans, Jeff Cottrill, Katie Thompson, also an impresario extraordinaire, will be joining us later. Super thanks to everyone helping out with the production. Mike Sindler is arriving now. That's wonderful. Okay, so Robert McGowan, I'm checking my list for you. I don't think you're on it. Would you like me to put you in there? Yes. Okay, wonderful. I'm going to put you in that open spot that we have since Edith dropped out.
Oh, Edith dropped out. That's too bad.
Yeah, I know. It's very sad. Welcome, Mike. It is so good to see you. And we are going to go ahead and get started. I'll put us in the speaker view. Okay. Yeah, here we go. So let's all do our best to stay muted unless it's our turn or we absolutely must say something very, very exciting after someone speaks. I understand that occasionally we just must respond immediately. And all right. Welcome to Poetry in the Brew on Zoom. I'm so excited to hear from each of you. I'm your host, Christine Hall. I'm having funny things with my camera tonight, but I'm really grateful y'all are here. Caroline Minter is coming in, hooray. Okay, we are going to start immediately. Thank you so much and welcome, Hill.
Hello, it's so good to see everyone. I have a kid in the background, so if there's movement back there, that's what's happening. And I'm going to start with, I want to write love poems because that feels like a good mood for tonight. I've said it before, but some days, or let's be real, it's almost always nights, I want to write love poems for everyone I know, even those I struggle with, perhaps especially those I am struggling with. Want to write a love poem for every moment when we struggle to love each other without knowing quite how, to reach across gaps of time, distance, ideology, trauma. Some days I make myself cry, trying to put into words every person I admire, create their shapes in the sand of my own personal mental beach, carve something in deeper before the tide of memory loss comes to wash it all away. Sometimes the notes I write myself become nothing more than, remember to be grateful for this person. Remember to speak their name with the reverence you hold for trees or mountains. Cradle them like a shell plucked from the rocks at low tide. Sometimes I want to write love poems and whisper them into the shell of every ear, but I've only so many words and so much breath, you know? And maybe another little short one, just because it's in my doc after this. It's called Practice. Can you love your way out of crisis, I wonder? I don't mean marry someone wealthy to fix your debt or move your way up some ladder that ends with luxury or lack of struggle, but rather sit in the midst of all that is hurting and hard and hopeless. Breathe deep of the world's wonder and sorrow too. Let the stench of all this death rot and fetid fear coat your lungs, your spirit, and somewhere inside you begin to transform. Breathe out everything calm, cool, and clear, like a spring that the world can sip at to refresh itself, like a natural wonder in your own right. Can it be enough to try? And that's it for me tonight. Thank you so much.
Oh, Hill, astounding. Oh, thank you so much for speaking with us. So grateful you are here and to hear from you. Yes. I feel your words and appreciate so much. Thank you, Hill. And now I don't believe that Phil Linz is with us yet. And so, Phynne Belle, perhaps are you prepared to go just a smidge earlier and speak with us now?
Sure.
Oh, we are so grateful you are here. Thank you and welcome, Phynne Belle.
Hello, everyone. So I have 2 poems for you, I hope, if I have time. This first one I did at an event that Propaganda Poet invited me to, celebrating Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So this poem is called Things My Pinay American Ears Should Not Have to Hear, a list poem. I would like to share with you a list of actual things said to me over too many years. I would like you to know how my reaction in each instance ran an expanse of shamed, stunned, to briefly resigned, to angry. I would like you to know I am not always proud of how I responded to these utterances in the past. I would like you to know I put my foot down now. Say no. Please watch the words that emerge from your mouth. Ignorance cannot be an excuse to stand behind. Do better. Words slung recklessly cause damage and hurt. Do better. Number 1. These Pinay American ears have heard you call me pretty ching chong girl, geisha girl, island girl. Keep your fetishes to yourself. Number 2. These Pinay American ears have heard the curiosity in, why is your skin not white and your eyes not blue? America, land of immigrants, color allowed, but the palate limited. Number 3. These Pinay American ears have heard the disbelief in, but you speak English so perfectly, as if this raises my percentage of credibility, of Americanness, of worthiness to stay. Number 4. These Pinay American ears have heard you ask me, no, where are you really from? Would you be baffled, pissed off if you were asked this and not believed over and over? Number 5. These Pinay American ears have heard you ask me, Number 5, these Pinay American ears have heard beautiful Tagalog phrases like kamusta ka, maganda ka, and salamat, mocked and mangled. Are we supposed to simply smile and be honored? Number 6, these Pinay American ears have heard you wonder if people in the Philippines lived in houses or mud huts. The savages have running water and Wi-Fi connectivity too. Number 7, these Pinay American ears have heard you give up and declare, I won't even try to pronounce your name. Each syllable phonetic is as it appears. No excuses. No excuses. Number 8, these Pinay American ears have heard the snide asides. Filipinos are only ever after foreigners and a visa. Consider the absurdity in this claim the next time a Pinay housekeeper cleans your hotel room or a Pinoy nurse soothes your ailing grandmother's fever. Number 9, these Pinay American ears have heard your intended placating inside of intelligent and industrious, molding us your model minority, more us than them, wanting us to be that divide. We will not provide the wedge that alienates our brothers and sisters. Number 10, these Pinay American ears have grown weary of what they hear. These Pinay American ears will not listen anymore. And then I wanted to close with a poem that I've borrowed from a friend who's been so gracious to share with me. This poem he dedicated to Ukraine. It's called A Prayer to Saint Javelin. And this is from a poem by my friend Lawin Bulatao, Prayer to Saint Javelin. Saint Javelin, watch over us. Saint Javelin, deliver us. Deliver us, Saint Javelin, from those who would turn our neighborhoods into battlefields, our bedrooms into tombs, our playgrounds into graveyards, we pray. Saint Javelin, watch over us. Saint Javelin, deliver us. Defend us, Saint Javelin, from the greed of the oligarchs, from the violence of warmongers, from the hawks who have yet to learn that doves at need have talons too, we pray. Saint Javelin, watch over us. Saint Javelin, deliver us. Bring back peace, Saint Javelin. Let our enemies hear your gospel through the dead iron of their armor, over the rhetoric of their leaders. Give us the courage to face our foes, we pray. Saint Javelin, watch over us. Saint Javelin, deliver us. We pray for the day we no longer need to pray to you. Amen.
Oh, Phynne Belle. Wow. Oh, wow. Exquisite and such a real impact in the poetry that you craft. I am amazed by you, and I thank you so much, Phynne Belle. We next welcome and thank you for joining us, Mike Sindler.
Hello, always good to be here. I miss the other 3 weeks of the month that we don't, but having one is great. I'm going to give a little breath from the super heavy and do a couple pieces that are reminiscences of my old buddy. And this first one is called Indebted for Sham. I think of Sham when I make doses, letting rice and dal soak till they're right, grinding each, blending together, mixture sits and ferments overnight. Aromatic with faint scent of fenugreek, thick sour batter ready to pour, hot pan layered with bubbling ghee, beloved friend's signature chore. I will never make one quite as fine, thin and perfect as a note on the wind, rolled round a sweet mango chutney. Such delectation I will not taste again. Half a lifetime since last we cooked together, recounting deft and gentle preparation. I recreate the treat and recall the man in lowly but honest imitation. Savoring my sad crepe all alone, I hear the echoed laughs of children, see the faces that beamed with joy whenever Sham was in the kitchen. Though the taste is not the same, it's close enough to soothe the ghost. Pupil plates the pancake with a prayer, still and always indebted to the host. And the other is what we would do to get off the ashram for a little while. This is Catskills Killing Time with Sham. Resting in the ruins of a Catskills resort, once chic and stately space, reverting back to forest. Ghosts cling to walls like mold, crisscrossing vines like veins, pulling past into aftermath. Occasional outsized furniture, past purpose, decaying in dark hallways. Bees make nests in walls that once reverberated to Borscht Belt comedian shtick, now quiet enough to hear rodentia scatter, chatter, and shuffle. Birds paint floors and furnishings with guano. Various fauna gather in tentative new coexisting communities. Could long gone architects have known how easily life would cover over enclosures and reclaim vain space made moot by advent of aviation? Did they believe Yarmouth youth would still bounce balls on cracked concrete tennis courts, matrons and mashuganas floating in dry depths of empty pools? How foolish are we to think the mark we make is more than thin chalk scrawl worn and washed away to nothing? Still in all this quiet space of peeling paint and decades of dust, liminal zone where feral nature overtakes arrogant, impossible, promised endless holiday, is still hospitable to those who choose to linger in contradiction. Okay, thank you all very much.
Oh, Michael Sindler, thank you. Your insight is searing every time, and I just love what you put to word. Thank you, Mike Sindler. Thank you so much for joining us. I do not believe that Fatima is here. I actually saw Fatima live on Instagram right before we were starting. So if we need some of their poetry, we know where to find it, but we'll look forward to hearing from Fatima when we can. Next, though, I am so excited and thankful to announce the return to the brew of Generalissimo Bryan Franco. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Christine. I'm so glad to be back. And we'll start with the Queen's Secret Siberian Sisters. Queen Elizabeth of England was recently sold for $75. She was dressed in a conservatively tasteful Savile Road hand-tailored off-white dress, accented by a blue sash, her signature heirloom pearls, and a jeweled crown. I wonder if whoever bought her placed her in the center of a mantle to the left of a set of unnested Russian nesting dolls lined up from small to large at the end of the mantel, and to the right of Aunt Gladys's pride and joy collection of ceramic roosters no one wanted, but is now a point of pride in the owner's home. In the middle of the night, when all the tchotchkes come to life a la Night at the Museum, the nesting dolls try to teach Liz how to dance. They humor her every night when she can't get it quite right. Liz doesn't mind when her babushka instructors ask to try on her pearls or crown because they treat her like a normal person, not an overprivileged royal. When they invade the vodka and the liquor cabinet, the sturdy Siberian women are surprised a queen can drink them under the table. Liz's new claim to fame is that she has trained all the roosters to perform tricks as if they were her corgis. The Russian gals tease Liz that one day they'll make soup from the roosters, but then they say, "We never eat because we are hollow weeble-shaped balsa wood street souvenirs, and you are a Bobby doll." Then the next poem is called "The Time I Got a Couple of Facial Tats." My great Aunt Mildred lived in a modest ranch house at the opposite end of the street as my grandparents' two-story home with both screened-in front and back porches and an attic converted into a bedroom with multiple beds and cots for visiting grandkids. I was invited for lunch. There was a note on the door to let myself in. In 1973, Columbia, Tennessee, it wasn't necessary for people to lock their doors for safety's sake. She screamed in her sweet Southern old lady wrinkly voice, "I'm in the kitchen, honey." She was chopping celery for egg salad, which would be on toasted Wonder Bread with lettuce and sliced in triangle halves. She gave her wiry 7-year-old great nephew a big hug. She stepped back, lightly held up my chin and kissed my cheek, leaving a temporary tattoo of maroon lipstick that felt like it was made of frosting from the carrot cake staring at me from the counter under a glass-topped pedestal. She handed me a bowl with her famous marinated cucumber, onion, and dill salad, peppered with a generous sprinkling of black pepper. "Go on and set this on the table. I'll be out with the sandwiches in a jiffy." The fancy antique dining table was set for 3. She always kept place setting on the table for Uncle Malin, who had died before I was born. There were 2 tall glasses of home-brewed sun tea and a glass pitcher filled with tea. I sat down and waited, then let out a loud, high-pitched sneeze that might have been capable of breaking glass. I grasped the lace tablecloth, which caused one setting of Aunt Mildred's wedding china to crash to the ground, and sent the cucumber salad fleeing like a frisbee to splatter on her French Revival plastic-covered couch that never caused my thighs to sweat because she ran her AC so cold. I burst into tears. She ran out to comfort me and assess the situation. "Oh, baby, that's why I covered that couch." I pointed to the broken dishes and cried like a banshee. She wiped my tears with a cloth napkin and said, "I have coleslaw in the fridge and none of the sun tea spilled." She grabbed a whisk broom and dustpan for the broken dishes and wiped off the sofa. She brought in the slaw and sandwiches and said, "I know carrot cake is your favorite." After my second slice of carrot cake, which was accompanied by chocolate milk from a glass bottle, she smiled and whispered, "Let's let this mess be our little secret." She never mentioned it again. When I got back to my grandparents' house, both my cheeks had lipstick tattoos, which my grandmother cleaned with a wet washcloth as she giggled, "Your Aunt Mildred sure is something else." And one more, "Why it rarely rains on the Jersey Shore." Whilst ambling barefoot through a meadow of soft, silky grass, my tender feet encountered a patch of downy wild zoysia laced with sharp-edged pebbles. These insurgent bits of geological shrapnel ambushed my soles with pain, dancing through my tootsies, making them feel as brittle as broiled sugar candy glass atop a creme brulee. I shrieked into the morning air, a yell that echoed against the sun, who yelled back at me, "You shut up! I'm trying to fucking meditate over here." I have consequently solved the eternal mystery of the origin of the sun. She was born in New Jersey. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, Generalissimo Bryan Franco, the witty word wizard himself. Thank you so much. It is incredible to hear from you again.
And just next Saturday afternoon, I do have a Tumble Words workshop. And then, of course, the Monday after that, I am doing my next Cafe Generalissimo. I'll put everything in the chat. Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Yes, thank you, Generalissimo Bryan Franco. And now I see we do have Fatima Lisbeth here. We skipped by you just a moment ago, but I can put you up in two more if you hang with us. Let me find you. There you are. Well, okay. Just letting you know, Fatima, we are so glad you're here. And if you would like to speak on another couple poets, that would be fantastic. Right now, I do believe we have a first timer on our microphone. Very excited to hear from you and grateful that you are joining us. Thank you and welcome, Jackie Morrey-Grace. And please let me know if I've pronounced that right and if that is indeed the way you like to be introduced.
No, that was perfect, actually. Yes, thank you. It was my first time. So I didn't know what to do. So I've just picked this one, which is called The Cursed and the Damned, and it's nothing but a story. Okay. The horses, their hooves sound like thunder. Rosalie's voice was too loud. Her whisper of voluptuous crash in a dark space under the bed where she buried herself with her sister. Aria's reply was a tremble. They'll heal, they'll find us, she hissed as she bunched up her fist and fought Rosie's sharp prang stab in the ribs of the bone that bit from her elbow. Aria pinched and Rosalie sighed. Then on hearing a terrible clang, clatter and bang, all feuds were forgot and one gripped the other. And like that, they lay under the bed and they cradled each other. Rosalie wished then she remembered her mother. Papa had always been vacant or staged. He'd plenty of friends when the winnings came in, but more than a few enemies made when times got thin. She thought lately she'd try be a good daughter, tucked him in rags when he crashed on the floor, wiped his face clean of the spew on his chin, and threw out the booze that he brought through the door. Aria thought only of ships in the sea, had Cottrill crammed to the cursed and the damned, swashbuckling maidens, pirates, smugglers, sirens, the world was a play and a cast was its sailors. Rosalie thought Aria quite mad. Aria thought Rosalie dull. But as each listened to the thump, thump, thump of the front door, their hearts throbbed as one, and as one they lay still. Knock, knock, big man, we want paying. Aria's hair tickled Rosalie's ear. Short as a boy's, it stank of dried dirt. Rosalie's own was a shining dark mane. Well, I've nothing for you, Papa told them. Take a look if you like and take what you want. And immediately both girls inhaled as one body, for both of them knew father was not to be trusted when father was drunk. Aria paused and whispered, just so you know, I hate you. And Rosalie whispered, and I hate you right back. But as each twin twisted round the other twin's finger, they both breathed, no, I love you. Then clicked the sound of the latch. Aria was sold to a slave ship. The men thought her too wild to keep a house clean. She slept in her own filth. Oh, hang on a sec. She slept in her own filth. Oh, yes. So she tripped the captain and slit up his throat, then sailed the whole world in her own little boat. Rosalie survived 9 years on a farm she barely knew sleep and was worked to the bone. And when Papa finally sobered enough to come fetch her, she clawed at his eyes and she cried for her sister. Aria returned home with a fortune and a band full of swashbuckling men. She stormed the whole town where her childhood was stolen. Then when Rosalie emerged from the damage she'd done, and her sisters embraced as one, and Rosalie said, well, it looks like one of us had fun. Aria reached in her pocket and she pulled out a gun. Who gets it first, said my sister. Rosie lowered her eyes and she lifted her finger, pointed it straight at the farmer's wife's head and said, well, I think she deserves to be shot right dead. Boom, boom. The town jumped to attention. Aria said, so the farmer? He's next. And closing her eyes, Rosalie sighed, yes. And all the rest, but Aria, do not touch the children. Bang, bang, the gun went and everyone screamed. And the shooting went on and 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 on. So somebody finally dragged out their father and Rosalie swooped down on him like a vulture, but Aria cried, no, put back your gun. But Rosalie turned to her father and shrieked, Papa, please run. As father vanished into the distance, Aria cautiously eyed up her sister. We're twins, Rosalie. We come as a pair, and whether or not you decide to agree, we're coming with me to sail the whole sea. So the sisters set sail for the sunset. And Rosalie found she kind of enjoyed it. As Aria shot people generally caused chaos, Rosalie cooked and she cleaned and she baked the men biscuits. And when the day finally came and the ship took a hit and the play was done, and well, that was it. Together they cradled each one to the other, and their hearts beat as one. and they died together. And her hearts beat as one. And they died together. I hadn't rehearsed it. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I hadn't rehearsed it. But thank you, because I haven't. Normally, I have to say what I do is I replace the gun with a water pistol. So when I perform it, I shoot everyone with a water pistol, which is obviously more fun, and I can't do that when I'm online. But thanks for having me.
Oh, you are just fully marvelous. Jackie. Oh, Jackie Morrey-Grace, thank you so much. Enthralling. You've given us all a flush and a rush, and that is just immense. Thank you. I really hope we hear from you again.
Oh, thank you. It's the first time I've been, this is America, isn't it? It's the first time I've been to America. So it's, yeah, lovely to meet you all.
Oh, welcome. We're based in Nashville, and it's so good
to have you. Oh, there's a Nashville one. Right, I've heard of Nashville. Okay, all right. I've heard the Nashville open mics. Okay. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry to stumble.
Yes, just honored you're with us. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Jackie Morrey-Grace. Yes, wondrous introduction. Now next, let us see. Oh my goodness. So we welcome so verily the return, and thank you, Sergio Ramon Rodriguez. And I do see we also have Serena Lucio in the house.
All right, it's incredible to be back. I'm glad I'm seeing and hearing everybody. For those, I think like the 4 or 5 of you that don't know me, my birth name is Sergio Raymond Rodriguez from Gary, Indiana, 1984. It's similar to Chicago. So I've been reading poetry at the Brew. I used to live in Nashville actually, and I headlined the event once. And I'm still writing. I moved to Arizona right at the beginning of the pandemic by accident, and here we are. I was still participating online here, so I'm still glad to be a part of Nashville and be a part of the poetry community online. And those of us across the pond, welcome, of course. Hope it's not too late. All right, I'm going to throw a link in there real quick before I start. I have released a poetry anthology, not a short story anthology. It's just called the SS Anthology. My next anthology is going to be a poetry anthology too. So some of the things I'm reading here and that I have read for the past few years are going to make it into that anthology. I finally have like a few hundred, so I'm like, I need to release this anthology. So check out the SS Anthology. If you have Amazon Kindle, you already have it for free. So check it out. It's like 99 cents digital. The hard copy is a little expensive, but I'm like, I really wanted a hard copy this time. It seemed nice. All right. So after the shameless plug is out of the way, let's see. I just got one poem here. It's only a page. So let's start. Let's see. This one was written particularly because I was rusty at writing poetry and I just didn't know how to get into it again, but I think I might have. So you all be the judge. Be honest. I'm thick-skinned. It's called Get in the Moment by Serena Lucio. It's, don't be in the moment. Pull out. Pull out. Don't be in the moment. Follow her off the trolley until perfect Spanish-speaking white boy just calls out. And don't get her, just don't get it. Just don't get her seashell tiny pearl dress, her glowing gold metal skin. Probably taking all of our jolly go fuck it all with that moment. And don't understand that empathetic comeback, that moment of getting the moment. It comes for the copacetic. It doesn't reach far enough. Just asking for the pathetic retirement with the 24/7 medic. And it drags off the trolley. Until perfect Spanish-speaking white boy calls out again, hey, get back on the trolley. This is the wrong damn stop. Don't get Lisboa's trolleys or ivory tower of academia. The Greater Recession, round 12. Never followed anyone before or since. Never in the moment more than in that moment on the trolley. I don't get how there's no comeback, no magna cum laude finished degrees, no foot tapping akimbo spouse or undeserving worship children, IKEA sterile home dictatorship, 15 seconds of social media fame. Don't get it. Multi-thousandaires. It's a new thing. Pots of gold. No healing in the name of the objectively worse. Not after all that was lost in the moments ahead of the trolley. Rotting inside parents, forever exiled siblings, 3-job, 4-kid having friends. Fake first and last loves, touting pretentious faith-based atheism, anarchy, totalitarianism, all the same. Credit so low you can't even afford to lay away at Sears. Defying healthcare wounded bills, and the creation of all nouns closer to the pores in life's porcelain face. Don't understand hopping back on that trolley. There's so much more than any girl in any trolley out there. So much more than her Moroccan face, Portuguese, yellow, sun-setting skin. Unknowable. Most inner moments unknowable. Just don't get the comeback moment needed to get back on that trolley and talk to the girl. Not to follow her or anyone, though. Don't get on or off, just get even. Get to come back from moments not taken, from people long taken, from those who just don't get being in and out of the moment at the same time. Learn how to be in the moments so that we can earn the moments we truly want and desperately need. Don't get back in the moments with dull as cucumber people droning on and on like air conditioners about control, freak homeowners associations, jail tastes and hiking trips to postcard recreational spots for selfies, political, economic, religious, self-podcast punk labels, as well as the pretentious lack thereof. Even duller from their attention whore acting careers, their wannabe savior medical jobs, pretentious plant care empathy, worship to pets, who couldn't care less, and dorky, nerdy, geeky consumer product fandom, not culture, and this and more. It just roundhouse kicks us out of the old rich white man controlled uterus, aka the moment. We'd rather tell the aristocrat joke for over 90 minutes. We'd rather follow the girl in Lisboa off the trolley, but it's wrong. Now, wrong according to dull cucumber people shaking a fuck you finger after barfing round intestines all over those who upchuck the same perfume junk all over. It's a junk fest. Or a jerk fest. Right back into the many, many jerk circles. Cannot be in these moments. Would rather daydream about the comebacks, about just not getting it, about a girl following us off a trolley in Lisboa. In the moment, we don't follow. Out of the moment, we pull out, pull out, and get in the moment.
Oh, whoa. Sergio, Ramon, Rodriguez, Serena Lucio, thank you so much. You are supremely incisive and so precise in the way you obliterate pretense. Thank you for bringing that here. Truly appreciate you. Stunning work. Next, we are honored and grateful to welcome Fatima Lisbeth. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're well. This piece is called The Aftertaste of Gospel. Under the prescribed benzo blood moon, the sun-baked hanging trellis sinfully winks, begging to be cleansed by the fiery arrogance of the wolf's smutty lick. The squashed, herniated marrow is tenderly swallowed, and flea-bitten bones are turned to turmeric talc with elastic embraces. Soldiered lines of monsoon's sunshine tempt itchy beaks to obediently blow. And the lies, the unfaithful lies, came inside, deliciously bloated from the overindulgence of this wrinkled feast. She lays her doughy self on the overweight cobbles, satisfied but infinitely unsated. She flinches with every crummy twist to find a faithless slice of comfort, but it callously betrays her with envy, punishing her bagel flesh. Absently, she recalls the last they had promised, spoke in dove prose, a musical melody, chocolated in the maple of baklava, but they lied. Eventually, she understood they were lactose-spirited and therefore empty and diabetically dependent on her dolly elixir. Uncomfortable, she rises, Something catches her cryptic gaze, and her marmalade eyes dart with an arrow-like swiftness. It's the chicken breeze, feebly exhaling an unwelcome warning. Beware. Your greed will become the bait wielded to ultimately end you and your reign. No eulogy is paid to his over-anxious fabric forecasts. His patriarchal flatulence poisons the menopausal air. It's the stench of unresolved trauma, ebbing hairlines and entitled testosterone. She shoots him a clear stare, breathes out to release ruffled needles loosened from an almighty summits within the blushed cradle, nurtured in a copper reservoir of the resurrected vortex, unleashed from her tightly braided obsidian longbow and peacefully plunged into his craven pigeon heart. Feathery fireworks litter the flushed sky, and silence resumes with the whip of her ancestral mane. The crinkled time is resting, and she has mountains of produce to reproduce. 2 fingers now, the chosen keys. Giving slippery entry to prise oneself open, to expectantly purge the messages hidden in the digested oils exploited to paint shrines of self-affirmed delusions. Only the chosen, with the hangman's eyes, has the tenacity to find the pretty patterns that emerge from the pollinated lies. The guttural raspy retching feels throbbingly good. It's the comfort of choreographed friction, discovered in the ruins of lonely childhoods. Her body hypnotically contorts as it's purposely been rebuilt from cartilage, uncoiling bonelessly, falling onto moccasin knees with each dispension. Her thirsty subconscious begins to yeast on the deposits of betrayal, and the tinsel, who pretentiously squeal, can be heard from their orphan nurseries, sweetly swaddled in strangled veins, pacified with their own severed, laughing tongues. Come share with us, they voicelessly shout. Let's practice neo-slavery. They innocently believe they possess powers of transmutation. Hopeless negotiations is luckily their innate design flaw. Chuckles erupt at the absurdity of such weak engineered energies. A yawn growls on the face of the many-faced one. She doesn't suppress. Let them see. They ask for authenticity. Maybe it will add gusto to the insincere beasts. Adorably, they cannot accept. They are where they're meant to be. Grown for consumption. Fattened with flattery, sweetened with lies, and carefully seasoned with the sequins of gospel. And as she fluently tends to the harvest, the conscripted reaper begins to feel the trickle of dewy sympathy. He senses she's grown fond of their spongy humanity. A corsage sneezes, inspiring an ovulating breath, emitting a weeping daffodil discharge. She empathetically emits a mapped psalm. It's a sedative gifted to the organically calmed, to bless their odyssey back to mortality, and from her inferno chest descends an elegy of a midsummer condolence. Come with me. Let me fill you so you can righteously believe. You cannot escape, succumb, please. Open your eyes and you will see. Nothing says the chronic, only lies, oceans of lies. But you will see me. I did tell you I'm no good, but you're in love with the taste. We've become one. Be sincere with me always. Let's fulfill the nectarine prophecies with an insanity that will overwhelm the synergy of the sun. Fear nothing, my love, but the nothingness come. Thank you.
Wow. Fatima Lisbeth, you speak with the force of reckoning. Oh my goodness gracious, it's so good to hear from you. Thank you for bringing that power here, the artful skill that you deliver your writing with and that goes into your writing itself. It is just transformative and transcendent. Thank you. Ah,
So
wow.
It's so lovely to be back here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Fatima Lisbeth. Yes. Next, we are welcoming with great thanks Tim Evans.
Okay, you can hear me. Good. I really wish I didn't have to follow that, but I have to. So that was amazing. Okay, I got two here. One is from my book, which you can get. You can either email me, my things up there, or you can get it on Amazon, which we won't talk about. But anyway, the first poem is an ode to what was a crack in Swansea pub, actually, a bar in Swansea. It was called the Tenby, and it goes like this: ode to the Tenby. The Tenby was always where demons and drunks walked and staggered. Back in the 60s, we knew we could always get served there. Llanelli boys under 18 on the run from saucepans, tafia of Taliban aunts. We escaped into drunken afternoons in sunny Swansea publand, wading through the smell of stale beer and number 6 cigarettes. No one knew our faces in these streets. We had graduated from drinking Spanish Sauterne from the bottle in deserted Swansea schoolyards to finding out which Swansea pubs would serve us. The Tenby always would. The place had a sort of a reputation. We shuffled nervously at the bar while the barman served up the Tenby's cheapest hit, cider slops from the plastic container below the taps that caught the spillover. It could be bought, I remember, for 6 pennies a pint. It was known as Scrumpy for some reason, though it bore little resemblance to the Somerset cider of that name. But it was cheap and it got you pissed, and those were its unique selling points. Splattered up the wall in the public bar was a reddish-brown stain. It was said in whispers that it dated from when a Mayhill hardman had taken a dislike and a broken bottle to an enemy's face. The stain of the spurting blood had never been fully scrubbed away. Later, we scored hash there from Swansea Pete. Jesus' hair and beard, thin as a tree in winter. White as
That's hilarious. Did he throw a grenade?
Yep. We got some noise.
All right, let's see.
Rishi. Anyway, I will pick up from Jesus' hair and beard, thin as a tree in winter, white as a vampire in a Swansea sky. The man who taught me how to use a chillum, always good for a quid deal of Afghan black. Swansea Pete, a legend in his own lunchtime. The last time I saw him wasn't in Swansea, but in London, near Kensington Church Street. He was completely wasted. Hey man, he said, got any skag? I couldn't help him. And although I never saw him again, he must have got his act together because I heard he was back in Swansea. And when I moved back, I went looking for him. I checked out some of the obvious places, one of them being the tenby. The barman told me he died a few months ago. As a mark of respect and to remember him, they'd taken his trademark denim jacket, framed it like an autographed football jersey, and hung it on the pub wall. The barman pointed it out to me. It was more eloquent than a football jersey, and it was autographed, but in its own way. Distressed denim and rusted badges, stains and rips, gashes and slits. A man's life hung there. Rest in peace, Pete. Sorry we never managed to meet again, and sorry you had to split so soon. The tenby, too wicked to live, too fast to die. And although it now kids itself, it is a coffee house, it is merely in denial, because spectral speed freaks, ghostly junkies and dope fiends will haunt that place for all of eternity. That place where demons walked, that place they called Tenby. I got one more, which is like a new one, and it hasn't got a title yet, but it goes like this. Today, we have passed through wet streets, dreaming of the glory days that we thought would never end. But even today, here, now, there are differences. There, broken curls of smoke rising from the rubble, crawling its way into the sunlight. Here, leaves, apple blossoms, untouched by flame. There, the shouts of weapons. Here, a sky like a starling's egg. There, skin caked with blood. Here, a sort of peace. There, steam rising from the carcasses of scorched vehicles. Here, some safety. And all safety is sweet, but all safety is conditional. There, the conditions simply vanished one day, swept away with brains and limbs and all the other delicate intricacies of people's lives, so that now there is no safety, not there, not here, not anywhere, because everywhere the peoples of the earth are bound together, whether they know it or not. And rulers and generals who murder the people of one country, be it Iraq, Afghanistan, the Ukraine, Yemen, will tomorrow turn around and murder the people of their own country. Wars have a strange habit of coming home. So today, we passed through wet streets and we dreamed of those far off glory days. Because today, we are all refugees. Okay, guys, thank you. Thanks for listening. And it's really nice to be here again after really long sort of absence. So really cool to see you people. Thank you.
Oh, Tim Evans, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, enchanting and grueling in turn, lucidity and gravity at once. I thank you so much for your words and what you do with them. It is essential. Thank you, Tim Evans. Next, Thank you and welcome. So happy and grateful you are here, Caroline Minter.
Hi, everyone. Okay, bear with me. This title is, I got an email. From ebony to eggshell, he stands erect. He's a male. From the time he was an embryo, this male was like ready, set, go. An electrifying and enterprising foe. Ethics and ethics is his flow. Well-educated, an essay of sorts, his words transport. Exponential is his reach, epic when he speaks. Ebullient always, electrifying crowds. Euphoric is his smile. He rises in the east and signs endorsements in his sleep. Exposes and exports nonsensical things. Equality oozes from this human being. See, he's an espresso cup of coffee on a cool winter day, exhibiting his effervescence in his own extraordinary way. Like an equestrian on a quest, he questions everything. Exegesis, eisegesis, he breaks it down, if you know what I mean. Aesthetically pleasing, easy on the eyes, an Eiffel Tower rising in the sky. An Empire State Building, building brothers, other brothers up. The epidermis of his essence is more than enough. An enigmatic and ethereal ball of energy, a living documentary. The earth echoes his essence. You be honored to be in his presence. Excretes excellence and is economically sound. His environment embodies elegance. Exceptional, he can be found. Tasty like an eclair, leaving you enamored. Walking around like you're hammered. 8-ball shooter full of nothing but life. Yes, he's a tasty little bite. Erotic and exotic, extraordinary, you would say, the epitome of a man on any given day. His ensembles are embellished and it's his style, got self-esteem that extends for miles. Ecclesiastic and ecumenical, at the same time, equipped to edify your mind. Elevation is his middle name, exceeding is his game. Got an overflow in his economic escrow. Ethical and equitable is his position, entry to his own exposition. Equivalent to none, epitome of one. The efficacy of this enlivened human being is something to be seen. He's well endowed and there when you call, and that's the way he has evolved. He etches and edges out them all. That's my email, y'all. Thank you. And happy Mother's Day to everyone too.
Oh, thank you so much, Caroline Minter. Happy Mother's Day. And oh my goodness, your poetry. What a mellifluous revelation. Thank you for bringing that to us, Caroline Minter. Oh, wow, yes. Oh, such joy. Next, we will welcome and thank you so much, Carl Lowe.
Yeah. Hi, thanks for having me. I've got 2 poems. The first one is called 19 Acres a Minute, which is, I was reading about deforestation of the planet, and that's how many acres of forest we lose every minute of every day the whole year. 19 acres a minute. And also they've been deforesting where I live in Tennessee, which is Smyrna, Tennessee. And after watching them build a road today, this is what I wrote. It's called 19 Acres a Minute. What is a road but a long, thin desert where nothing grows? A paved landscape traversed by resource-hungry vessels that exhale vaporous destruction as they depart. And when they appear, those exhalations relentlessly persist. It's surprisingly easy to watch a planet die. Simply come to my local park where the death machines are knocking down trees to make room for more of our paved desert. They exist to persist. A garden used to stand guard where this parking lot reflects the summer heat. Look closely at its dark surface. Tiny insects, hard to see, still stutter across its surface, and they exist to persist. So our existence comes down to contests of persistence. Even as reality melts around us and we move at a glacier's pace in feeble efforts to save the glaciers, to stop the warming of plastic-filled acidic oceans, even as we build new plastic factories to extrude polymers that exist to persist. So our plastic breath materializes in the reluctant atmosphere, laminates our lungs, stains our thoughts. Then again and again, our alarm clocks rattle every morning, snuffing out our troubled dreams, so we can concoct the unique, profitable plastic chemical recipes conjured into existence and relentless persistence. Thank you. That's a short poem. And let's see. And I have one more, if I can get my computer to behave. There it goes. This one's called Possibilities. It's one I wrote a while back. Just because we believe it's not possible to starve on excess doesn't mean we're not starving. Just because it feels like we know too much doesn't mean we're not in the dark. Just because the light's in our eyes and it's bright as day doesn't mean we see enough to understand. Because we don't want to understand, just because we don't want to understand doesn't mean that a part of us doesn't grasp the intent, what it meant when the rules were bent as the guilty go free and the judgment comes down, to free the already free while the innocent flee. And yet we're still surprised to be confronted not by a wall, but by a system of walls, and all along our maze of walls, the path is paved with the prayers to wall it all up. And the keening call goes up to hold it tight, revert to that mythical moment when we thought we were in charge, when we never considered what being consigned to a map of confinement would really mean. And the whole time, a tinny voice from a machine calls out our position among the walls. Thank you.
Oh, Carl Lowe. Thank you. Bard of the Brew, the lyrical truths you spew. Thank you so much, Carl Lowe. We now welcome and thank you, Midnight Poet Mel Bradley.
Oh, it is midnight here. Hello, thank you so much. It's lovely to be back. It's been too long since I've seen all your lovely faces on Zoom. I'm going to do two pieces. One, a shorter piece. It's Mental Health Awareness Week this week, or there's a mental health festival. But this year the theme is about gather, and so this piece is that sort of gathering around the kitchen table. It's the kitchen table. We come to this altar in reverence, Mother Priestess and her acolytes, each bringing blessed gifts and offering. I'll carry the teapot, you the milk jug, sugar bowl. We gather cups for communion, warm biscuits crafted from your hands and mine, through love, with love, in the union of sisterly spirit, with ginger-scented oblations that sanctify this, whose incense sanctifies this breaking of bread. Triple goddess, you maiden, I mother, those before us crone, our own Trisagion, holy, holy, holy. This sacred space is ours. We exchange wisdom, pass down secrets, the casting of ancient spells, legends of our foremothers, the folklore of women, champions of our cause. We laugh loudly, snort and eat together. This is the place of our stories. This is the place of magic, woman magic. This place will not be silent. This place will not ask us to hush, to be small. We sit with feet on chairs, knees folded up beneath us. This place is heart. We held hands here, shed tears of compassion and condolence together, solitary. We shouldered burdens, shared in abstractions, laughed in unison, made lists that would right all wrongs, and loved each other. This is the place we come back to. This place is home, as it was in the beginning, and is now, and ever shall be. Thank you. I'm going to do one final piece, and this is from my show that I've just did back in March, I'm going to do again in September, and then I'm going to take it on tour. This is the very final piece, and this is it's a show about the relationship between the women of Ireland and the Virgin Mary. And this is a prayer from the Virgin Mary to the women of Ireland. And it's about all of the atrocities that have been committed in her name. The whole show is about finding her lost humanity through the misappropriation of her. So this is called Dear Swimming, but I'm going to do this as Gaeilge, so I'm going to do this in Irish. Siad a bheatha a bhra, a tlag an bríos an blís go bhfuin, cruithithe ag falas na bhar, ar nathair ar neamh a sprag an gríomhaíochtú is focal fáú, an gríomh Syrian an dearg naya at a umper agah ar chuoiche lumsa. Baniu ma hasla twuv, Fweniu an baniu at wum, le siv a chaniel sa crúmi neder a shaw, Conyi Israelta, Chiran gan wuning. Fui hosh, fui vron, muncha machanta, gan smal gan an aris gan Jerry or B, an fian, a coggernach or gluis, o vi shiv se chliwan. Maninaha. Muncher divan muncher go chi on il wisa, ugla a ve or a vro of hain, agus a hila, silu shiv in a sayi le ve brisha, curl hila arisha gru an chuma, arnisha. Gan shilav agav orv hain. Costana cura mahasu, rim and yachar niva, the curran ildiv go will low and after agam a gakrug nak me agav a cur lowachti and lee orv. Iwa aswer lowa. Talorg and lock the gorp, and bron marave tilly a silu vergusla, and chiliach fi hilch I a chassanj go hincha. Connie Giaganta, Tohar Friconkus, Butcher, Funta, Foucha. Is Orfshe, a Tamil the man, a goslach that were Moirahas, Revorti Awin, Cruhior, Eniltor, Garda Costanta, Kahia, Ta Ambiliacta, Kintia, Agus Shivanachania, Mohinis, a colony were roll Achanta, Ainglanta, Tripadraha, and Fubble. Queen siv ishka were gin de were nearfara, mar vrachanis achri, vi orv shula na yesulka, a vi lachashis aku, linnev a nidge o ach de moirachta, deeltin of fucker akris, catch lativ, August nairaha, lachri me again to the chispin div, and doi hard leve owl, pre-war wise shaswach denaya, jachrati and tail. Village were nairacht. Quid me yora a chin medivshe, Machris beanta a golly covada, go true vela umprim were nulla. Kinte Elisibhan August Brishu spirit. Anish. Theckim shivagiri, ag musculch go mal and all. Tugagi aru the hila, shassi the hila air water in the sirsha. Kitchiv the glincha of the air moist, lesh and fian. Crasia, healers, lechra, warriors, mra, women. Thank you so much.
Oh, Mel Bradley. Oh, thank you so much. Magnificent. I mean, the priceless gift of your creations. Thank you, Mel Bradley. Every once in a while, the chat goes quiet. Everyone is just completely riveted by what's being said. Oh, Mel, thank you. Wow. Oh, it's so good to hear you say that in Irish. Oh my God, you made me cry. Okay. Thank you.
It's lovely to be able
to. It translates. Okay.
Thank you.
Holy. Yes. Thank you. Okay. We next. Welcome back and thank you so much, propaganda poet.
Hello all. Sorry. I'm COVID right now and other things happening, so I'm not going to turn on my screen. But I've been here the whole time. So I'm just going to give you 3 quick 30 for 30 wordplay things I did. And,
Before you start, I'm just going to say I've got my volume up all the way and it's a little tough to hear you. So I don't know if there's anything you can do as far as like proximity to the mic, but I would not want to miss a word from you.
how about now?
That's better. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Here we go. 3 short poems. This first one is called Another Happy Couple. In this scene together, we're seen together, but does it seem together when these seams rip the tether? Will these screams last forever, or these dreams escape the never as we hide under the weather? Admit the truth never when we're seen together in this scene together. And this next one is called, excuse me, Might We Slight These Changing Plans? Be like water, go with the flow, adapt. You can't punch puddles. But water can boil over, singe the skin from within until life becomes unbearable. Water can freeze solid to the point that it won't be moved, lest movement and motion become danger and destruction, the devastating wake of glaciers grown wild, melting away millions of miles. Water can be able to weather the storm, but weather that water creates can bring devastation, erode away at creation as the waves crash away at the shores until it becomes impossible to ignore. Be like water, go with the flow, adapt. You can't punch puddles, but they most certainly can punch you. And then this last one is called These Sideshow Attractions House Deeper Distractions. I am a man bun on a bald dude. Yeah, I know that shit don't make sense. But you know, your shit don't make sense to me. All these false allegations of beauty like gallows poles throughout the centuries. Don't act like trending is a new thing when popularity has been singing the praises of master races since the early phases of civilization. Now, if only there were more civility in the citizenry, then maybe we could meet at the cross-section of intersectionality, where dreams can actually dance with reality. And maybe, just maybe, we stop limiting these definitions of humanity instead of just coexisting in this insanity. Thank you for listening. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you for encouraging my behavior. And thank you for being poets and holding places like this so that we can process this global trauma.
Oh, propaganda poet. Thank you. Thank you for bridging the clever and the genuine with so much beautiful capability. I love the breadth of your work. It's fantastic. Thank you, propaganda poet. Love when you join us. Yes. Hey, is it true maybe that you might be making it in person for Jeff's feature? Am I speaking out of turn?
I really thought no. Life is really chaotic and unstable right now. So.
Chaotic. You know what? We are going to be here for you when you can make it here. And it would be groovy to have you featured too. So
I am totally down for figuring something out, maybe for fall. I don't know. Depends on if I'm living on the road or if I actually get this job in California. I don't know. We'll find out. But stay tuned. We'll talk more.
Yes, we will. Thank you. Let us see next. Oh, goodness gracious. With great thanks, we welcome Rhoda Thomas.
Oops. Start. Hello, lovely to be here. What I wanted to highlight with this poem, which I actually wrote in published in 2017, is the cost of living crisis, which with energy prices going through the roof and the general public being made to pay for the pandemic is rife. And in Britain, as in so many countries, poverty is just going to get worse. This is called 2 coins. I give you £2 coins from my pocket, and you stretch out your hand to reach because you're sitting on the ground and I'm standing up. Our eyes meet and you mumble thanks, and I want to give more, but I already bought a big issue this week. I feel So sorry that you're living like this. You could be my son. You're someone's son. I want to give you enough so you can leave this place and live in a house and choose your food and process the memories of a father who's a sicko and a mum who drinks. In my carrier bag, I've got smoked salmon and asparagus soup. And soon I'll be battling through the traffic with cello music, calming my nerves. The clock on the kitchen wall strikes one next to the painted goldfinches. And I'll find some chicken pieces for the cat. If I gave you more, I don't know where I'd stop. And if I kept going, I wouldn't have enough for my lunch. And as I squeeze lemon juice onto my fish, I remember your gratitude and the pleasant buzz I got from giving something, from trying to help. In the maelstrom of the shopping centre, you were real. You were the one I said hello to, not all those people pushing to get to the tills in the mad frenzy of consumerism that they hope will blot out their pain too. Look, I don't care if you have to hand the money to a gangmaster, glad to be of help. I don't know. I know if you don't have enough at the end of the day, you'll suffer. And if these small amounts of money add up to save you from sex round by the dustbins, or help you to buy the anesthetic that stops you feeling too much, well, I'm glad. I know you can't sleep, and I know you don't feel like eating, and I know you're weak, and I know you're afraid, and I know your things have been stolen, and I know you once wanted to be a footballer. I know you're past grieving. I know you won't last that long. I know you're treated like shit. I know you're through shame. And I know that you don't think that anger is an emotion that you're allowed to have. I'll pour myself a glass of wine, and tomorrow I'll go on the march to put an end to this situation. If you can't do it, I'll go for you. And those coins are my promise. I mean, it's about this struggle, really, the increasing inequality.
Yeah. I mean, the kind quality of the perception that you lend to such a subject as that. Rhoda Thomas, that signifies your work. Thank you so much. Yeah, the knowing that you mention you are able to give with such sincere compassion. It is moving and it's unwavering, and it's really important work you do. And thank you for lending that voice. And yeah, may it be amplified. May it be shared and connect with people, who very much need that clarity of vision and that projection of their needs and that acceptance, yes, that you offer. That allowance is so gracious and so real and so necessary. Thank you, Rhoda Thomas. We next welcome back. So glad to have you with us and hear from us. Thank you, Chanson Byrd.
Good evening. I have 2 short pieces and 2 haiku. Love is an ice storm. Weather is not in my favor. Stepped out in the storm. Lightning never reached a heart that knows how to love. Lightning's prejudice. Just give me a chance, you cold, wretched block of ice. My heart is open. Let my love melt these piercing icicles to become water in the river love. Number 2, I began with love. I hope to end there. Let's keep it nice and fluffy. Don't make it heavy. Don't tell me about the bills. Let's just poet and chill. To fuss is too much for me. I don't have the energy, so let's sit at the counter. Let's order a root beer float, 2 straws. I'll walk you home and kiss you goodnight. That's all I have in me for now. Haiku. Poetry and brew. Words are ground to perfection, are never bitter. And the last haiku. Grind words like coffee. After all, they're organic, just like a poet. Thank you.
Oh, yes, Chanson. Thank you. Your words are so uplifting. You got the missing ingredient, which is love. And I love how you lather it on. It is so nourishing. Thank you. Yeah, I do just love your poetry so much. That's the zing that we need, and it is a delight to hear from you. Thank you, Chanson Byrd.
Thank you so much.
We next welcome back and thank you, Martin Parker.
Thank you, Christine. Is my mic working tonight?
Sounds good.
Okay, great. Let me go off camera so I can read my poetry here. I have a couple new ones. This first one is how recent events have taken us back to earlier memories. It's called Plains of Pain. My mind goes back to riding a train across the fruited plains of Ukraine for 24 hours, avoiding the rain, while watching those amber waves of grain. When perestroika was starting to crack the chains that held the nation back, but now that land is under attack, and many who grew now suffer the lack of places to hide from children's cries as fireworks fly over ginger skies, though not from celebration but lies, created to justify people's demise. And after we'd seen the black beaches surreal, the city once named for a man of steel who hunger did force and food did steal was next on our journey and would reveal a burned out frame that was left behind, quite like the one on Hiroshima I'd find, to echo resolve and sharply remind that war destroys and leaves us all blind. But why does this lesson still go unlearned as planes and homes and schools are burned, recalling the echoes of fires that turn to ashes the dreams of all concerned? Strange fruit once grew in another plains clime, a town my grandpa called home at one time, a photo taken of a lynching, a crime, an act unpunished against reason and rhyme. These cycles of hatred go round and round, but maybe one day we can build up new ground, release all the pain in which we're bound, and finally a path to peace will be found. And then I've also got a poem, it's one of my memory poems, which, despite the title, is not actually about our illustrious host here tonight, but someone I met on a school exchange. My school had an exchange with a school in Germany when I was in high school. This is called Liebe Christina. I still remember the very first time I saw your face with those dimples so deep. Your birthday it was. You came to the door. And Klaus said to me as I stood there bemused, "Give her the flowers you hold in your hand." And once I handed them over, amused. I realized then he'd played me a ruse. He claimed his hands were just too full of presents to carry them up the stairs that led to that door on the upper floor. Your mother served dinner, the party began. We shared a few glances, but nothing more. You dipped your fingers into the wax that pooled in the well of the candle flame that burned on the stand in your sister's room, where we all sat and heard a troubadour sing about his wanderlust Greek Jewish life and how the flowers would bloom in the spring. Klaus was your cousin who stayed at my home, but I couldn't follow his English class, so it was decided I'd attend school with you, as our two ages were the same more or less, and you were studying French instead, which I held my interest much more, I confess. Your birthday was near the end of June, while mine was halfway into July. We both turned 16, were legal to drink, but I was more thrilled by my new fountain pen, the way it moved when you wrote my name, perhaps imagining letters we'd send. I still remember the tilt of your head, the single word "nah" escaping your lips. I could not think of more words to be said, and then your aunt, a hug did suggest. I savored that moment of touch we shared. The wistful look in your eyes said the rest. Thank you very much.
Martin Parker, thank you. My goodness. It is so touching to listen to your poetry. You reach into those tender parts and like prick the senses and soothe them. It's quite thoughtful what you do, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Martin Parker.
Thank you so much.
Let us see. We have, I do believe, a first-time speaker on our mic next, and I would like to welcome with great thanks, Robert McGowan. Robert, over here. Oh, got you on mute still. Yay, there you are. Hi, Robert. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm enjoying this this session. I have two poems. They're short poems. One is from the collection that I've written. It's on Amazon. It's called On Yellick. That's the moon in Irish Gaelic. And it is about, it touches on my Irish heritage, my history as a combat veteran, and my close affiliation with Hispanic culture. This first poem is from that collection, and it's called Te Quiero Como Pablo Neruda. He's my favorite Spanish poet. Actually, he's Chilean, and he was a good friend of the socialist president Allende in Chile before he was overthrown by the conservatives in Chile. And it's about his relationship with his long-suffering mistress, who put up with his shenanigans over a period of many years, but they continued to love each other. Begins with what is it called? A little statement from Neruda, who said, "Te amo como se llaman ciertas oscuras en secreto, entre la sombra y la alma," which means I love you like we love certain things that are in secret between the shade and the soul. Blessed is the moon upon the ocean, flowing over the water. She churns the deep and sends the cold, the blue-tipped waters north into the fecund twisting of the currents and the tides to bid them south with oxygen, with color, and with life to the sacred coast of Chile, where I adore you. You are melting over the tides as I taste the red wine from the vineyards, where volcanic soil mixes with the brine of the biggest, most peaceful ocean in the world, where the vines grow grapes, where the grapes are crushed and locked in darkness, then rendered into wine. I suck the flavor from the lambs that were suckled in our gentle, almost Mediterranean hills before they were surrendered to the city and sacrificed for you and me, the blameless for the shameful. It might be funny if it were not such sacrilege. I want you like the sinking moon wants the sea. You want me like the humbled current who will do anything to please the wanton moon. You are sinking beneath the table. You are slipping out of your chair onto the rug where I will weave you into every part of me until the tide steers south where all warmth flees, where there is no need to ever breathe again. This poem is my attempt to write a poem every day for the Poets Month of April. And it tells a story about when I was a soldier in Vietnam, my second tour in Vietnam, and I was waiting to go on leave, and an announcement came over the radio about a significant event that changed my life completely and my whole attitude toward the United States and war. It's called April 4th, 1968, Wasting Time. Sitting at the NCO club, sipping my second beer, listening to Otis Redding sing Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. I saw beyond the headlands above the airbase at Cam Ranh Bay as bright blue waters of the South China Sea churned the sugar sand beach within the pale of the American redoubt. Seems like nothing's going to change. Everything remains the same. I was waiting to go on R&R in Singapore. The Tet Offensive was winding down. The music stopped. The DJ on Armed Forces radio broke in. A lightning bolt shattered sad reverie. Dr. Martin Luther King has been shot in Memphis. Dr. Martin Luther King is dead. The music did not return. I did not go on R&R. I went back to the field to be with my brothers. I did not extend my tour in Vietnam. I went home tired and sad. Now I'm still sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Thank you.
Oh, extraordinary work. Robert McGowan, thank you. That was heart-wrenching, and I am so grateful that you put it in words and brought this to us. Thank you so much. It would be wonderful if you were to join us again. I would love to hear more. Thank you, Robert McGowan. Oh, we next welcome back. Thank you. So glad you are with us, Doc Janning.
Good evening. Glad to be here with you folks. Hold on a second. There. I have 3 short poems. Looking through windows of time, dreaming of now, visions of the future, memories of the past, colors and sounds flow to form and reform images of love and life, their joys and sorrows in all the melodies and shapes of forever. Echoes and soundscapes, light and shadow of infinity. And in the midst of all, a journey, a promise. You. Naked love, soaring on clouds of joy, sharing my innermost self, my ancient dreams, my eternal longing, blooming, blossoming neath your gaze, crumbling, dissolving at the touch of your breath, in the feel of your words, becoming one with the all of you. And finally, rain shower, dancing, laughing, playing, slipping and sliding, softly colliding on wet grass amid its sweet smell, nude neath soft, warm rains of summer. The elixir of time flows drop by drop into our cup of being. Your bare skin, your smiling face, your laughing face, glistening, gleaming, glowing with raindrops and love. Just the two of us, a bar of soap, and nature looking on. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Doc Channing. Oh, we raving splendor with your language. It's luscious and lustrous. Thank you, Doc Channing.
Thank you.
Well, our next poet, as we know, comes to us from Canada, and in fact, will be joining us in person at the Brew next week. Oh my goodness gracious, as our feature right now, we get to hear from Jeff Cottrill.
Thanks, Christine. So here's something relatively new. This is called Trying to Break into the Group Conversation. So this is a nice restaurant. What did you guys order? Well, the thing, I saw that. Yeah, that. If I know what you, I know somebody like, yeah, but to answer your question, but then that's, well, does the funny part, I know a guy who, and when the best part of that movie, then, you know, the most important rule of life that everybody should know that solves every problem is, well, but is anybody even hearing me? Is there anybody? Nobody can hear me. I'm a serial killer with 12 bodies buried in my basement. I'm going to give $1,000 to each one of you. There's a deadly hurricane heading for this area right now. I know for a fact that the chef peed in all of your dishes. I have undeniable proof that God exists and that he hates people who listen to rap metal. All of your flies are open, wide open. I'm going to leave now without paying my share of the bill. Bye, assholes. So that was called, again, Trying to Break into the Group Conversation. And as Christine pointed out, I am going to be in Nashville in person next week. Fingers crossed that I don't get COVID. Got 6 more days COVID free. And in addition to Poetry in the Brew next Saturday, I'm going to be at, what's it called? The Southern Flair Cigar Store in Smyrna on the 19th, I think. And I'm doing a gig with the Prodigal Poets on the 20th. I guess more info to come later, and I will put some stuff in the chat right now for
you. Most excellent. Thank you, Jeff Cottrill. That was super effective, exceedingly realistic. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Very excited to meet you. And if you consent to a hug, oh, I'm going to give one. That's too exciting. Coming all this way. Yay. Oh, let us see. Oh, we get to welcome back and thank you so much, Terri Rose Jertson.
Hello, how are you? I have 2 pieces that I wrote today in a workshop, Tumble's workshop. So I never read this before. Uh-oh, oops, I'm sorry. Hang on 1 minute. I was listening to Nina Simone and I just accidentally turned it on. Okay. My teddy bear that was in the picture of my newborn self at the hospital, one of the few pictures existing of me as an infant. I guess there was a different mindset about photography and the price of film and cameras and processing, or maybe it wasn't important. But I do remember many days and nights crying into this bear. He was my only friend and confidant during my days of misery as a child who could never measure up to whatever ideal my mother had of me. I always felt replaced by my younger sister when I look at my matted bear hunched over, brown buddy, worn down legs and face from too many tears and kisses. Still there if I needed him to cuddle. My mom told me that the bear was given to me by my Aunt Diane. I don't remember her. That's that one. And then this one, the attic hideaway. There was a place upstairs behind a regular door which led to our attic. The size of it was the length of the top of the first floor. The steps going up creaked as much as I wanted them to hush. You see, I was hiding from my mother. The woman who offended me on a daily basis. She did or said something to which I replied, "I'm running away." She never argued. She would just help me pack, remaining as nonchalant as she could be after hearing my threat more times than she could count. And when she wasn't looking, I would tiptoe with my bag up those stairs and sit in between the beams of unfinished wood, sweating with the sap of pine crystallized on the splinter-filled framework of our first family home. Perhaps she knew she could wait me out every time, and eventually I would get tired of hiding. Light streaming in through the windows, growing dark. What seemed like an eternity was probably only like 5 minutes. I would come back down and pout in my room, wondering why she never came to look for me, or even if she noticed I was gone.
Ooh. Oh, Terri Rose Jertson. Ah, I love the way you explore the world and illuminate the inner world. Thank you so much for sharing your poetry. Ah, thank you, Terri Rose.
And I have a book coming out, shameless plug. It's called The Chameleon Chronicles.
Yes. Congratulations. That is fantastic. Yes, everyone watch for that. And oh my goodness, we have some good links. So yes, make sure that one's in there, please. And thank you. And yeah, save that chat, everyone. We got lots to reference. Good things happening. Share the news, spread it. We are welcoming back. So glad you are here. Grateful to hear from you, Gregory Lannom.
Hey, thanks, Christine. Wow, this is bringing back memories of Zoom meetings the past couple of years. This has been really great. And Terri's last poem reminds us that for some of us, Mother's Day is problematic. And I'll have no comment about that. I've got a couple of poems here that Hill's probably heard in maybe an unedited, because I tend to work on poems a little bit after I first read them out. But I've got a couple here. And this is kind of in response to the increasing rise of fascism in our society, especially in America. And empathy for the enemy. What are we to do with the confused? What love can we gift to these misanthropes prone to uneducated fear, to these shifty-eyed schemers? How can we forgive and forget these bumbling conglomerations of obstreperous monkeys who, in their fretting, defecate bricks and then fling them through their own glass cages at those they choose to not understand? How can we respond to their bannings, their chantings, their religious wars against textbooks, meddling in others' affairs so they can justify their own? What is the depth and breadth of simple compassion in the face of such hate? How can you pity your enemy who strains the quality of your mercy? Love, not revenge, should have no bounds. Peace may come via our empathy, and if not, with our votes. And then we can pass an amendment, forcing them to taste the rainbow, that promise of the love they've lost. All right, and here's my second one. Hikers, yeah, thank you. Hikers and nature trail walkers will like this one. Pilgrim's Process. You do not have to be a lover of nature to love a walking trail, cut long ago by sepia-toned hands, a beautiful scar in undulating Tennessee hills, a necessary operation to heal ourselves. With the good intention of saints, we keep them open by countless pilgrimages, following the ghosts of a host of hikers past, leaving nothing but footprints, sometimes with burdens on our back, but each step depleting the litany of grievances we accuse ourselves of, our sins forgiven, step by step, incline and decline. By the trail is the stream, narrow but never straight. There is no name for its hue of ever-changing blue. Verbiage fails us. Better to let the stream speak, lead us whisperingly to the shrine at the end, the waterfall that's been falling since the fall. You don't use an umbrella when you want to be christened, just as you do not go swimming when you want to be baptized. So underneath you stand in order to be as clean as the stream. But this isn't being reborn. It's being part of the continuity creation is. The trail's ever changing, as are you. In an ancient landscape, you feel your own agelessness. Just as this landscape over accumulated millennia has been shaped by the patience of divinity, so you too are just as imperfect, never finished, never done for. We can forgive the wounds we have cut into our own souls and can love a nature whose only constant is change.
Ooh-wee, thank you. Gregory Lannom, what a lush landscape of words you have spread before us this evening. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. You delve in there without trepidation, and it is so rewarding to witness and to listen. Thank you, Gregory Lannom. Oh, let us see. Oh, goodness gracious me, oh my. Thank you so much, and welcome, Bonnie Solloway.
Thank you, Christine and everyone. I wrote these today at a free writing circle, which is really sort of unusual for me because I can't tell you how many drafts my poems have to go through, but this was sort of an easy theme. The theme today was rage, and so I have like 3 very short ones. So the first rage poem. Rage has been ingrained inside my soul since 2016, when our country began embracing a man of dubious means and deeds. A white rich man, wouldn't you know, made others of his ilk feel fine. I wanted to return to the obliviousness that kept life naively divine. Like rapids racing through a town, drowning streets and homes, he flushed justice down the drain from a fake gold-plated throne. This is Rage 2.0. Should we leave the country? What really are our choices? Truth and reason out the window, wafting back with strong men's voices. Strong men lust for power, peaceful dialogues all but dead. Strong men snack on greed while we all choke on dread. The stench of politics today, dark money wrapped all that up. When you stand for nothing, dark money funds your luck. And this is Rage 3.0. It took almost a lifetime to hear the slow drip drip of truth. Our forefathers were lying cheaters, the bullshit peace pipe further proof. Promises never kept, weapons that never missed, kindness stamped out like a campfire, entitlement their only bliss. What kind of men could do such things? Self-anointment of righteousness. Why, they're still right here today, making a bigger and bigger mess.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize I wasn't muted. I'm like, yeah. Oh, Bonnie Solloway. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to take that in, but I'm also going to say thank you. Yes. Well-placed rage. Your words equal movement. And I mean, yeah, that you are able to articulate this, that you don't pull your punches and you always punch up. Thank you, Bonnie Solloway.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Catharsis, refreshment. Getting back in there. Okay. Next, we welcome and thank you so much, Rishi. Are you there, Rishi? I hope so. I know you got.
Yeah, I'm here. Just wanted to apologize for the interruption earlier, Tim Evans. I promise I wasn't trying to break into the conversation like Jeff Cottrill. Just one poem here. Chocolate chips and bitter gourd. Socrates and Sarah Palin. The bass drops to a sweaty and disgusting euphoria as the quiet nights and quiet stars look out over Corcovado. Oh, how lovely. A clumsy canine clusterfuck with bizarre ingenuity and careless determination. Subtle sense, serpentine stillness. The sick, lazy shimmering, fluorescent on the cold linoleum aisles. The dull hum of not life yet not inanimate. Earth frozen over into the rock of old dead things for uniformity and parking. As the crude angular form of a grocery store stands starkly, naively, committing vulgarity to the soft leaves and keen ears of the creatures scavenging for their livelihood in the gentle star and moonlight, pronouncing in ignorance its utter ridiculousness against the endless expanse of the night sky. The utterly bizarre juxtaposition. What is my life? In a mere moment, a speck of stillness. And these irreconcilable occurrences of creation, totally alien from the disparate peaks and valleys, seem as two baby siblings, fresh from the same womb and adorably alike. And dancing around the speck, perhaps some small recognition, or perhaps unknowing of what is contained, still taking care. A warm meal, an undisturbed time, inclusion. The simple villager chased the Buddha to feed him when he walked as a samana. The incredible care and possibility in a society. The most exuberant celebration, ecstatic with soft song and dance around the silent vacuum of experience. And tears in my eyes because they waited and saved me a taco. That's it, thank you.
Yay. Oh, Rishi, yes. Oh, the meditation, and then of course the surprise that you give us. Thank you so much, Rishi. You give us poetry that is talisman, that is touchstone, that's wellspring of the goodness. And I am so thankful for what you represent, what you embody, and how you allow the spirit to flow. Thank you for the massage of your words. Thank you. Well, let us see. Oh, okay. Now, Michael Collins, I see you're here. We do have Julian right before you, if that's all right. Yes, okay, good. So grateful you were able to join us, and that we have Julian Matthews also with us. Thank you so much. I know it's early, and we are glad you are here.
Hello. Oh, glad to be back. This is called C Prompt. I miss the ocean and beach holidays, but the sands of man wait for no man. Is an older man than just an island where the sea erodes his memories and with every lapping wave takes some away until he becomes increasingly isolated, cut adrift under starry nights or a castaway perhaps, writing poetry in the sand. I am that old man, a poet who can't memorize his own words, who clings to smartphones smarter than me, who relies on ways to tell me where I am and take me where I'm going. Who needs Shazam to remember all my song titles? Who needs Spotify to remember all my song lists? Who can't wake up until I've hit the snooze button 3 times? Remember when alarm clocks rung? Now I leave it all to Samsung. Remember when Apple was the fruit you ate to keep the doctor away? Remember when I and phone were 2 separate entities not joined at the hip or the wrist? Remember when tick-tock was the sound made by a grandfather clock? Remember when tweets were the sounds birds made, not the twittering over how much Elon Musk paid to buy it? Remember when Amazon was a rainforest and a river worth saving, not the savings you got from free same-day delivery? I remember when an algorithm was a math equation, not a means to manipulate public opinion. I spend more hours on Facebook now than facing a book. I'm told I have to pin all my interests on Pinterest, that I can only impress with words if I have WordPress.
Ooh.
Just gram all your foodie snaps, she says. Will I instantly lose a few kilograms? I reply. Actually, the only thing I post on Instagram are photos of my parked car in malls, so I won't lose it. I'm told I should store all those pics of my parked car in malls on, get this, Google Drive. My daughter posts stories that cannot be saved, nor slipped into albums, nor framed on a wall, nor kept in a dusty shoebox, nor archived in musty storerooms. Seeing you behind this cold-tempered glass is not the same as hugging you in person. They say all my digital stuff is safe and secure up in the cloud. I'm sorry, but safe and secure are 2 words I do not associate with a cloud. And I just want to know what type of cloud. Are all my status updates floating away like stratus clouds? Have my accumulative memories become cumulus? Is my less nimble mind now nimbus?
Ooh.
Sometimes I feel it's all drifting away on the horizon where an unforgiving sun is now downloading into the sea. But this ain't no beach holiday. If age is just a number, when will I know mine is up? Just another stranded Crusoe awaiting Friday. I'm weakest at the end of the week. For some days you want to remember, but most days you just want to forget. Too much month at the end of the money, I let the devils in and find union with spirits, where they say black liquids are good for you. Guinness stout is good for you. Who came up with that rabid piece of doggerel anyway? Probably some dry poet at a bar scribbling thirst copy on the back of a napkin, a starving artist who gave it all up for a regular paycheck maybe. An island lover who now misses the ocean and beach holidays. Someone just like me, lost poet adrift and alone and stranded at home until his Friday comes. End poem, thank you.
Wow, Julian Matthews. Julian Matthews, poet. Thank you so much.
Very good.
Elevating remembrance to an art, even the obsessive ritual of the snooze button. Amazing. Thank you, Julian Matthews. Whew, y'all, what a night. I know I can trust you for that. And also for some of you, what a morning, huh? Thank you so much for being here. This is the last poet I have on the open mic. And after that, if y'all feel like hanging out, I'll share a quickie. And then if Sergio Ramon Rodriguez still wants to share his little tidbit, anyone who wants to hang out for something funny is welcome to. But right now, it is my honor to welcome, with thanks, Michael Collins.
Okay, thanks very much, Christine. Yeah. Okay, just very quick one, and appreciate this. Whisper your story, hum the tale again. A great sharing of betrayals, a gathering of pain. Failures creep back into haunt. Regrets we must embrace, foregone days beyond rewind to any former grace. Now the children, staring wide-eyed from such a terrible height, are yet not entirely blameless, cleave to their own dark light. The tortures of a man with a desire for control, insidious constructs, a ghost in search of a soul. Well, how should I respond? Blame outlasts its sanctioned brief. The me that was, lost in myth, less a hero, more a thief. The fine details are somewhat hazy, much like clouds that would conceal the sunlight from a generous sky, which all the while longs to reveal what is true, what is real. Thank you, and apologies for not being here. I'm sure I missed some wonderful, wonderful poetry.
Oh, we are thankful to have you with us, Michael Collins. Oh my goodness. Thank you for representing your voice and your perspective. I take it straight to heart whenever you speak. I appreciate you so much. The balm of your words and your poetic spirit. Thank you, Michael Collins. Thank you, each and every one of you. What a marvelous thing that you make coming together. I'm so moved. Okay. Okay. And I get to do it again next week. Anyone who can't join us in person, think about tuning in to the live stream. We'll have Jeff Cottrill featuring up in the loft of Portland Brew East. I'm hitting send for anyone who would like to join us on the Patreon. And thank you again so much to our impresario extraordinaires, Bonnie Solloway, Rhoda Thomas, Katie Thompson, who I am sorry was not able to make it tonight. Hope we get to hear from her soon. Thanks to all our sustaining members and poets, each and every one of you, poetry enthusiasts. I think that, I think it's the meaning of life. I really do, as much as we can elevate it to an art form, especially these excruciating details. I have some scraps. I'll share in the form of something like a poem, very quick. Wrong Jesus, mister. My sacred heart, lush, green, and wrapped in thorns. Distinctive lavas, tankards of solidarity, dryad suicide, unsavory starfucker, wannabe groupie energy vampire. You are precious light in your own right. Don't try to make my fucking fantasy practical. All right, that's it from me tonight.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I'm going to take us out of the speaker view back to the gallery. I heard a little something on the direct message that Serge might want to come back on and share something with us if we want to hang out for that, if Serge is up for it. Are you with us? What's up? Oh, Sergio.
I'm all set.
Oh, hurrah. Lucky us.
Alrighty. Anybody with, I don't know, small women, old children, people thing